you have also learned it over time. So was there any period in your life where you felt that stress or anxiety?
My mom never put a fear into me.
Right.
I don't remember ever her telling me that, like, don't do this, otherwise this will happen. So there was no fear which she would
It was
caution
not
me, saying
fear-based parenting.
it was definitely not fear based. While in the submarine, did we have stressful instances? Technically, yes. We had some major problems which used to happen. I would say sports is more important than just physical fitness.
Okay.
See, sports teach you failure. Parents, pay very careful attention. If your child is less than 8 years of age, this is poison. Worse than worse, worse, worse than anything combined. This is the worst.
Hi, I'm Commander Girish Konkar. I'm an ex-Indian naval officer. I was in the Indian Navy for about 22 years. And in the Navy, I was a submariner.
Welcome to another episode of the Commander's Compass. We are here with our favorite commander, Coach Girish Konkar, sir. And sir is going to go in depth with us on a very important topic, stress and anxiety management. I think this is something that affects all of us, both personally and professionally. Plus, sir is not just going to give us a basic understanding of the topic, he's going to give us practical techniques to help us manage stress better in our day-to-day lives. Also, if you are a leader, this episode is super special because sir is going to help you manage stress as a leader much better. Let's go. Hello and welcome again. Please pardon me for my voice. I have a little bit of cold, but let's get started with our first segment, which is understanding stress and anxiety. So, first of all, I would like to understand what is stress and what is anxiety. How are they different from each other?
Both are technically, I would say, similar in the meaning what the body undergoes. But to differentiate, stress would be short term, anxiety would be long term. Stress gets caused as a result of some trigger, something which I perceive in my immediate domain, and that causes a certain reactions in the body, which causes my body to go into a sort of a flap, and I don't know what to do, and that can be resulted in stress. Anxiety, on the other hand, there is no specific trigger that could be pointed out to, no physical trigger. It is more internal. It is more what we just perceive, and that could be dangerous. And that could be dangerous creates a various physiological change in the body, which could be long lasting. In the case of stress, the moment you remove that object from the scene, the stress disappears. For example, let's say somebody is afraid of a dog. That's a very common fear. And if a dog comes in the front of you, immediately you go into a stressed out mode. And the dog goes away, stress disappears instantly. Anxiety, on the other hand, would be even the dog is not there, but still the very mere thought that, okay, that a dog might come. What if the dog comes? Then what do I do?
Or if I'm going to someone's place who has a dog.
Yes, that itself will cause a lot of physical change in the body, and that results in anxiety. So this is, I would say, the most basic differentiators between the two.
And sir, in regards to, you used a word trigger, right? So what are some common triggers in both personal life and professional life?
Okay, so I'll take a little bit time to discuss this. In a sense, let's understand what triggers and how the body reacts to all that. Our brain, that is designed some couple of lakh year ago, maybe 1 lakh, 2 lakh year ago, it was designed for survival in a very hostile world. That's how the brain original design was, and it was meant to say that, okay, if you see a tiger, you must run. If you see a deer, you must hunt and kill it. You didn't have the luxury of time to decide, is this tiger hungry? Should I run, not run? Should I wait out? You saw a tiger, you couldn't fight it in those days. You know, a lakh year ago, you didn't have a bullet or a bow and arrow or a gun to shoot the tiger. You had to run. You had to flee from that place. So that you have to have instant action the body has to take. Likewise, if it's a deer which you have to kill, you have to be very fast to catch the deer and to kill the deer. Again, you have to kill it with probably stones and with some clubs or something like that. You don't have the luxury of time to do a lot of strategy and planning and all that stuff. That you have to have instant reaction. Otherwise, the deer will run away, and you and your family will go hungry. So it's a typical what we know as the fight or flight response. Now, what does that mean? The brain sees this object, sees a tiger. Now, today the tiger is gone. It's only in a zoo that you see a tiger. It could be replaced with any object, anything. It could be right from a cockroach to a lizard, to a fear of darkness, to a fear of exams, to a fear of unknown, to a fear of rejection, fear of heights, fear of water, fear of flying, fear of risk taking. Hundreds of fears are there. So every one of these things now all these things are sensed by our brain through the five senses. So you see something, you hear something, you taste, you smell something, you taste something, and you touch something. These five senses gather the information, send it instantly to the brain, and I'm now simplifying this to the absolute minimum so that people understand it absolutely. Those the scientific bent of mind can maybe do some Google, YouTube search to see what is the real science behind everything. But just to understand quickly, this information that we've got is sent now to the subconscious mind, which is the back called as the amygdala, hippocampus. You have heard of these terms in the brain, where it does only one thing. What I'm perceiving now, has this happened previously? And what did I do then that I'm alive today or surviving today? So it's a survival mechanism that the brain has designed 1 lakh years ago or more, still persists. That's how the brain is, and we still continue with that. Therefore, this survival mechanism, now the brain has to tell the body, saying this is a hostile world, this is a tiger or a deer, and you're going to take action. Now, what action does the body need to take? If it's a tiger, typically fears are, I would say, tiger oriented. That means if somebody is afraid of a snake, instantly the brain says in 50 milliseconds, that's the time it takes. That means chutki mein, the brain says, oh my God, this is dangerous. Take action. That means you have to run from this scene or fight with that, whatever that object is. Now, to fight that, firstly the brain has to go into overdrive. The brain says, okay, I need to handle this situation. I have to find out what all I can do. For that, the most basic thing that the brain requires is oxygen. There are 100 billion neurons in the brain. There are the cells in the brain which do all the activities in the brain that the brain functions. They have to go into overdrive to handle the situation, which could be, like I said, tiger is gone. It could be just pure darkness. It could be just height. Could be the targets that leadership and professionals get. You got a project to be done, and will that project get done, not done?
Right.
The brain is, whether it's a tiger or a project, the body's reaction is identical, doesn't change. So now, brain requires oxygen. Where will you get the oxygen from? From the blood. Now this, it's a 3 kilogram brain that we've got. Compared to the body weight, which could be 70, 80 kilograms, it's minuscule. But this 3 kg of brain will require almost 20% of the oxygen. It's a massive requirement of oxygen that the body needs, the brain needs. Who will give this? The blood. Who will give the blood? The heart. So the brain releases certain chemicals. It will release something like adrenaline. It releases cortisol, release norepinephrine. So these chemicals are released which signal the various parts of the body saying, hey, there is danger, take action instantly. So this cortisol will now instruct the heart saying pump blood. The brain requires blood. Now, when normally if our heart rate is going at 70 beats per minute, suddenly because you saw whatever that trigger was, it will start bumping tuck, 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 at that rate. And your heart rate from a normal 70 could skyrocket to 150, 180, 200. Why? Because you saw a cockroach or you thought of a dog in front of you.